Borrowing funds through the sale of bonds and other financial instruments is a source of important revenue for state and local governments. Clearly, borrowing opens up governments to debt liability, but long-term financing provides an effective means of funding capital projects and major purchases. In emergency situations, governments can use short-term borrowing to smooth out gaps in cash flow. However, extended and excessive reliance on borrowing reduces the jurisdiction's credit rating and increases borrowing costs. One of the central principles of public debt management is that governments should not use borrowing to finance routine spending for operations. The financial community has developed two primary forms of long-term debt financing for the public sector: guaranteed debt and non-guaranteed debt. Guaranteed debt commonly takes on two forms. One form consists of obligations packaged as general obligation bonds, which receive the full backing of all the revenues and resources of a state or local jurisdiction. The second form of guaranteed debt is backed by more narrowly defined revenue sources. These are called revenue bonds and are backed by a specific stream of revenues and resources generated by a particular project, program, or new facility. Non-guaranteed debt is financed in a manner similar to the way we personally finance our homes or cars. Instead of backing a loan with either a stream of income or fixed fund revenue, we are charged interest at a rate that represents the amount of risk the lender is taking. This kind of borrowing in the public sector takes the form of bonds, which can be issued either as term or serial bonds. With term bonds, the issuing jurisdiction makes periodic interest payments on a regular basis and must pay off the principal in a lump sum after a set period of years. With serial bonds, the jurisdiction makes periodic interest and principal payments on a regular basis from the time of issue to full repayment. Many jurisdictions budget a debt service fund or sinking fund to build up reserves to meet debt payments. Determining the limits of borrowing by a state or local jurisdiction is a complex task. Debt is used primarily to finance capital projects and major purchases. Capital projects are usually understood to be relatively expensive, with long-term returns and a permanent physical presence. Capital investments include buildings and facilities as well as large equipment such as fire engines. Traditional accounting practices require that the useful life of a purchase should exceed the debt payment period. The credit rating granted to a state or jurisdiction by the bond market community can play an important role in shaping whether local officials are willing to ask their voters for authority to borrow money for public facilities. Setting the level of borrowing by a state or local jurisdiction reflects a balance among the following complex set of considerations. First, repayment ability, reflecting recent revenue flows, operating expenses, and borrowing; the strength of the economy; the value of real estate property tax base; public opinion; and the essential purpose of the capital project. The development of a public budget with a capital investment schedule provides the forum for making conscious decisions on these trade-offs.